Taurus, your voice matters and is powerful, and your gifts are meant to be shared with this world. Regardless of what anyone has ever said to you, you have a presence that is meant to be felt and that is transmutative for the collective. So share your voice, share your energy. I do have a couple of animal cards already on the table. We will get into the tarot in just a moment, but first I want to thank all of you who support this channel with your likes, shares, comments, and subscribes. If you've been following around for some time and have not done so already, it's a great time to hit that subscribe and bell notification because I'm very likely to rebrand. So if you want to be sure that you're always up to date with what's in the cards for you, now is an awesome time to follow around. Equally, it's a great time to book a reading or energy healing session if you are ready for a deep dive. I'm actually offering a sale on my website. You can get 15% off all of my services using the code Jupiter at checkout. That's to celebrate Jupiter going into Cancer, which is a beautiful turning point for 2025. So again, if you are ready for that deep dive, now is a great time to book with me as well. You can find the link in the description of this video. So, Taurus, I have these animal cards here for you. I have the Nightingale and the Sea Serpent, and these are two very interesting energies to me. When I first saw the Sea Serpent, I felt like there was some very deep emotional healing. Whenever I see this card, I often think of the expression of just riding the wave. And the Sea Serpent really speaks about being present with our emotions, being present with ourselves, even when that feels murky or challenging, or maybe even clear and feels good. It's just about being there unconditionally for ourselves. And that doesn't mean that we wallow. That doesn't mean that we shrink up into some sort of victimhood. It just means that we are present with ourselves and we are aware of what we are feeling and listening to that and responding to that in the best way that we can. And this is also a card that corresponds to the sacral chakra, which governs things like emotional expression, creativity, as well as even things like sensuality and embodiment. So if any of those areas feel like something that's hard to access for you, then maybe this is an energy center for you to work with or do some Reiki on. Again, I do some distance energy work myself, so maybe that's something we could work on together if you feel called. But ultimately, there's so many different ways to work with chakras. You can even go online and just listen to like different frequency musics or frequency sounds like on YouTube. You can kind of look up different foods, different exercises. There's even specific yoga poses that are meant to activate different chakras as well. So that's something to kind of just give you some things to work with here. But ultimately, I feel like there's something really profound about expressing your creativity, expressing your emotions, expressing yourself, especially with this Nightingale card, which I really do feel like is just the epitome of speaking from the heart. And it's funny that we go from the big, massive sea serpent to the small, kind of unassuming Nightingale. And that's why I feel like a lot of you actually do have very powerful words. You impact people in very profound ways. You always have. But for some reason, maybe your caregivers, your teachers, your peers, your lovers, it was almost too much for them. It touched them too deeply. And because of that, they shut down to you. And I feel like for a lot of you in turn, you shut down as well, or you made it mean that other people just don't appreciate you. And I think you actually have something that is very powerful and worth sharing with the world, especially if you are a creative, particularly like a songwriter, a musician, a writer, a poet, but maybe even something like a bodywork practitioner as well. I could kind of see that with dance or even something like massage, something that gets people in their bodies, because I kind of see that with the sea serpent as well. I'm even thinking of things like somatic healing, somatic release. That could also be work that either resonates with you or something that you are naturally gravitating towards, or maybe even something that could be beneficial to you at this time. Actually, that does kind of feel like something that's important to look at for you. If you feel like you've been having a hard time healing or moving forward, I would really encourage you to look at things like creative arts therapy or expressive dance therapy, something that incorporates some kind of somatization or movement, because a lot of the time we hold these emotions and traumas in our body. Even if we do the cognitive reframing, it's not going to be enough. We have to move the energy. It's a bodily thing, and we have to respond with our bodies, not just our minds. And that's not to say that therapy or cognitive reframing is never helpful. It's absolutely an important and key step. But I feel like there is something here for a lot of you where it's very important for you to find different ways to express and move whatever energy is blocked or whatever energy needs to be expressed through you at this time. So some pretty big messages right out the gate here. I am so curious to see what the tarot has to say. And as I'm kind of shuffling the cards here, I just want to give my friendly reminder that these are general readings. So these messages might not be meant for you specifically. It's actually up to you to really trust your own intuition and discernment to figure out what applies to your life and what should be left behind for somebody else, okay? So maybe even pausing this video for a moment, really becoming quite embodied so you can better feel out what messages are meant for you at this time, how they apply to your life, and what should be left behind for somebody else. So what are the messages that we have for Taurus? Show us clearly, please. What are the messages that we have? And again, I do have links in the description of this video if you are looking to work one-on-one or take that deep dive together. What are the messages? What are the messages for Taurus? We do have the Queen of Swords with the Page of Cups. You know, this is supposed to be a past energy, but I'm actually just going to kind of let these cards come out and be very fluid with it. Because this feels like so much of what we were just talking about. The Queen of Swords says what she needs to say, even if it sometimes can be painful for other people to hear. And she doesn't do this out of a cruelness. She does this because she knows sometimes honesty is kindness. The most kind thing you can do is just give someone the plain truth. And I feel like there is something here about you expressing your emotions and maybe even needing to draw boundaries with people as well. I do see that with the Page of Cups and the Queen of Swords. That feels very kind of resonant here. I do feel like there is an understated intuition here as well. The Queen of Swords represents the watery part of air, so kind of the intuitive part of the mind and communication, whereas the Page of Cups is very much an emotional messenger. And so I feel like there have been a lot of maybe conversations around emotions, or you're kind of expressing yourself, you're expressing things you've never expressed before, or maybe there's someone you are connecting with and you're just having a lot of emotional conversations. Maybe they're telling you things about themselves, and this could potentially be an air sign, particularly Libra, could also be Gemini or Aquarius, maybe even like a Virgo, Libra cusp person. We could also have some water sign energy here with Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio being indicated with the Page of Cups. So that's some kind of interesting energy here. And I think part of this too is recognizing how your mind and your emotions interplay with each other. You know, our thoughts can very much influence our emotions and vice versa. And so if you're feeling like you're kind of in this dysregulated state at any point, Taurus, it's important that you're kind of dropping into the feelings, dropping into the experience to kind of calm those waters so you can see things more clearly. What is this about? Why is this message coming out right now for Taurus? We do have the Six of Swords. So some of you did have to draw boundaries and maybe even walk away from particular individuals or groups or situations that weren't healthy for you. Because we do often see this with the Six of Swords. It is about leaving situations behind, walking away from a battle, going into calmer waters, going into unknown waters in search of something else, in search of something better. So I feel like you really did need to have boundaries with someone. And maybe you either walked away from this person, you left a connection or a relationship, or you just needed space. Maybe you just needed time, or maybe you just needed to let things kind of play out. I don't think things could be rushed. And we do have the Nine of Wands here. This was actually at the bottom of the deck just a moment ago. So I feel like you've kind of been in a transition period for a while. And maybe you're starting to ask yourself, did I make the right move? How much longer do I have to keep going? How much further? Your perseverance will see you through to the end of something. You are kind of in a pivotal, not pivotal, kind of like a decisive moment, Taurus. And this sort of feels like it's about your whole life. I'm also getting the sense, if I'm being honest, that you've kind of had to go it alone for a while. Or even if you've had support, it's like ultimately you've had to move yourself. You've had to do things. Even if there's other people supporting you, I still get the sense of you standing on your own. You've been doing that. I'm almost getting this kind of like journey for you, Taurus, where in the past, maybe you didn't have very strong boundaries and you were in relationships where you were walked all over and maybe even taken advantage of, maybe mistreated, and you did walk away. You did draw a line. You did put up a boundary. I'm kind of intuitively feeling, though, Taurus, that for a lot of you, either now or very soon, you're going to kind of be looking back at how you draw these boundaries. Because sometimes you do need to put up a wall. Sometimes you do need to just close something out or cut someone out of your life entirely. But a boundary doesn't always look like that. And in fact, boundaries are often a continued dialogue. It's a back and forth. And I feel like you're in a situation right now where maybe once again you feel like you need to put up boundaries, but it's not the same situation. It's not the same energy. You're not repeating the same cycles. Yeah, you might not be seeing that right now with the Four of Cups. You're not repeating the same cycles. Because boundaries can literally just be as simple as having preferences. That's basically what they are. I don't want this. I want that. That's a boundary. Judgment with the King of Swords. So yeah, interesting. So I got the King of Swords, but I dropped it and then I accidentally picked up this Queen of Swords. And what was interesting with Judgment is I was just about to say, I feel like there could potentially be this person from the past that you had to have boundaries with, that you've had to distance yourself with. Maybe you are hearing from again. Maybe you're reaching out to them. Again, very strong air sign energy, Libra, Aquarius, Gemini here. It feels like there is now something coming back into your life, Taurus, that you are dealing with. Otherwise, this could just represent that kind of echo of the past. I feel like there's a lot of trauma or triggers that are coming up. And I think right now, for you, Taurus, it's very key, okay, to figure out what is my trauma response versus what is like a reaction to what is happening in the present. Ooh, yep, yeah. I do feel like there's some shadow work here with the Devil, but it does feel like there's still this energy around you, Taurus, that I'm not loving. It could be a friend, actually, or a sibling with the Three of Cups for some of you. Sometimes the Three of Cups could also indicate some kind of like extramarital relationship. Ordinarily, I don't go there, but sometimes when I see cards in combination with it that could indicate it, maybe. So maybe this is like an ex who cheated on you or just was deceptive with you. I feel like, honestly, Taurus, there is something that you haven't said. And frankly, regardless of whether someone is literally coming back into your life, sending you a message, or you're running into somebody, or they're just kind of in your heart, in your mind, it feels like you need to say something. Maybe even just write this down as a letter. You don't need to send it to somebody, but something needs to be expressed. It's like your own words are setting you free. I did get the Three of Pentacles, but I feel like that could be a different situation. Maybe there was something with a person you were collaborating with something on. But I actually feel like this is a collaboration that is coming into your life. So let me hold on to that for a moment. We do also have the Knight of Swords here as well. Again, very strong air sign energy. We have all of the air signs, Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini. Also Capricorn, Aquarius with the Devil. What do we do with this? What do we do with this? Let's try that again. Why is this coming up for Taurus right now? Wow. You are finally getting redemption and justice. Hey, Six of Wands and justice. I mean, this quite literally could be like you are finally getting justice in a situation. Someone is finally answering to something they have done. Wow. Someone could also be getting their karma. Particularly a person who had wronged you or mistreated you or took advantage of you. Or you're finally getting a chance to speak from your heart, to speak your mind. What else is happening? What is this Three of Pentacles about? What is the Three of Pentacles about? The Lovers. Interesting. So it feels like there's a very important connection or relationships coming into your life. Someone you are supposed to work with or collaborate with or have the same or similar goals as. I feel like there is this relationship, Taurus, that feels really supportive, really lovely. And I kind of feel like you share the same goals, or you support each other in your goals, even if they're different. And if this isn't about one person, it could be a group of people. There could also be like a victory for you and other people. And also like using your voice is really important right now too. I want to go back to justice for a moment and the Six of Wands, because that's like, this might not even be about a specific person. It could just be about society. Maybe there's something happening for you, this pride. Maybe there's something here where it's like you are speaking on behalf of a disenfranchised group of people or for a cause. And that could also be something that you're collaborating with, you're working together. Or you're finding people who have had similar experiences as you. Is there a love relationship or love connection at this time for this group that's something we should be aware of? I think just let yourself be supported by supportive people. We do have the Hierophant as well. So again, there is something about having similar values, similar belief systems, similar perspectives. In some contexts, the Hierophant can also represent things like marriage. It can represent things like kind of religious ceremonies, so or spiritual ceremonies. So it feels like maybe there is a ceremonious relationship or a strong spiritual relationship of some kind, something that could potentially be like a marriage. And that almost feels like it's somehow tied to like working on something or building something together, or maybe it's just building a life together. But it feels constructive. It feels like it's very earthy to me. There is someone who sees your gifts and sees your potential. Especially if other people either tried to convince you didn't have them. And I think they were jealous, they were envious, they felt threatened by you. This person felt threatened by you in your past. The Queen of Wands and the Magician. Yeah, you were too powerful. And you are standing on your own. That's the funny thing. Or like you're even stepping into a leadership role, Taurus. I'm really getting champion. Like you are championing something. There we go. And you are helping others who have gone through similar experiences. And in some ways, it kind of feels like your whole life has led you to this, right? Because you might have had some experiences that weren't great. You've had to learn a lot about communication and boundaries and standing up for yourself, standing up for things you shouldn't have to. But it has now given you a foundation where you can do that for others, or teach other people to do that for themselves. So definitely comment down below who these people are, what this situation is, who is it that you are helping. And I do feel like you are having some moment of justice. Anything else? The Ace of Wands. Yeah, you're fiery, you're passionate. I'm just gonna say too, Taurus, like if you have like a specific song or poem or creation, something that is meant to draw attention to an issue, it feels like a good time to put that out into the world. Or that's something that is at least going to be very healing for you. Because I feel like there's something here about your art is your activism. What you create is your activism. Really interesting energy. I'm so curious to hear how this lands for you, what this is touching on, because it feels like this is for maybe a very specific group of people. Anything else? There could be some money or restitution coming your way with the Six of Pentacles. Some wrong is being righted. Setting right to the wrong. Yeah, that feels important. And I almost get like Taurus, this literally could be something from years ago that you're hearing back from somebody or about a situation. And there's like almost when you've let something go is when you get that restitution. Or that reconciliation, but I don't even really think it's reconciliation for a lot of you. Is there anything else for Taurus? I don't think so. Those are all the messages I have for you at this time. I hope this was helpful. I hope this wasn't too heavy or anything. I don't ever put these messages out here to make people feel bad. Sometimes we just go over some heavier themes because that's what needs to be that's what needs attention right now. And ultimately, by naming these things, by identifying these things, hopefully you're able to respond or at least understand them in a different way that helps free you or empower you. That is always the goal here. Again, I do have links in the description of this video for personal readings and all of my social media accounts. I'm offering a 15% off sale on all of my services using the code Jupiter. And yeah, definitely comment down below. What is going on here? What is this energy? And maybe even give us that little bird emoji. Share your voice. If you've made it this far to the end, let us know, okay? And I will see you all in the next video. I'm sending lots of love and blessings your way. Take care, Taurus.